Thank you and welcome. Thank you, James, for that. I first want to just let you know that I have put in the chat, I have put a link to a worksheet that you can use later after the program that will help you go through as we go through the steps. You can kind of review them and find the areas that you might need some help. And then also, I am a member of NSA, National Speakers Association of St. Louis. And if anyone would ever like to attend one of our meetings, they meet on the first Friday of the month. Right now we're virtual like everybody else, but if you'd like to, and we meet in Chesterfield, if you would like to join us sometime, feel free to reach out to me and you can attend as my guest for the first time. So I just wanted to extend that out to you. So let's talk about breaking through the roadblocks. You know, I want to start off by just saying, I hope that you and your family are well and safe. This time for everyone is scary, and we are all unsure of what's to happen next, how things are going to happen, and what they're going to look like in the future. This uncertainty will be around for quite a while, I'm afraid. But for those of you who are also small business owners, we're not only scared for our family and friends, we're also worried about our businesses. So that adds a lot of stress to what we're doing. So with all this going on, we're working from home, dealing with worry about money not coming in, are we going back to work, not going back to work? And now, even if you are working home, we have our children and our spouses at home, and our daily lives have been turned upside down. And with all this uncertainty, we are impacted with more than normal amount of stress. So I do want to offer you some de-stressing tips and also a working from home resource that I've created. And I'll present those to you at the end of the program and let you know how you can take advantage of those. So have you ever felt like time was spinning out of control? We as individuals and both business owners, we tend to look at time management as a huge challenge. But time management is not the problem. We all have the same amount of time, but some people can just utilize it a lot better than others. The way I want you to think about it is more as not time management, but self-management. And at this time, even more now than ever, being productive is key, both personally and professionally. There is as I said, there's a link in the chat box, so you can, download it now or you can download it later. But the question is, what's holding you back from being more productive? There are a number of potential roadblocks to productivity, but they all tend to fall within 5 key areas that have a huge impact on your ability to be productive and successful. So what's holding you back when you think about that? When you look at those 5 things, I'd like for you just to put in the chat if one of those is a bigger issue for you than the other, just so we can share with everybody. You know, I've been working with individuals and business owners in the field of productivity for over 17 years. And when it comes to improving productivity, I have found that these roadblocks are what cause the most issues. So when we can try to overcome these roadblocks, it starts by taking an honest look at where you currently are, making adjustments, and I always recommend small adjustments, and then creating healthier habits in the areas where you might be struggling. When you take the time to examine your habits and behaviors in these 5 areas, you can implement some simple changes and align your actions for the greater success. You'll be focusing on what really matters and getting more done in less time with less stress. So what are some of the challenges that you have? So it looks like prioritization, mindset, planning, focus, mindset. We will address each and every one of those. So let's talk about mindset. The mindset is the first, and some might say, and I feel like, is the most important roadblock. Our mindset consists of conscious and subconscious beliefs about what we can do and what we can't do. And those beliefs can skew our view of the world around us, both positively and negatively, and affect every aspect of our lives and our business. So I think there are two types of beliefs: empowering beliefs and limiting beliefs, positive and negative. The key about beliefs are not true. They're not true, they're not false. Beliefs are just beliefs. Some beliefs empower you, while others will limit you. And for a general rule of thumb, empowering beliefs can feel light and free and exciting, and limiting beliefs can feel heavy and tight and maybe even sad in some situations. And our mindset is like a huge iceberg. Our mind is. And we all know what's on top of the surface, but we tend to ignore what's under the surface. So if we can't see it, we can't change it. Our mind is based on 10% conscious choices and 90% subconscious choices. So our conscious choices are what we think, we decide, and then we act. So what time am I going to get up today? What am I going to wear? What am I going to have for breakfast? And so on. Will I make phone calls before I start handling my email? Will I work on a budget, or will I work on my website? Those are all conscious choices that we make every day. The subconscious choices, we act without the decision to do so in a lot of cases. And think about the things that have just become habits and our subconscious mind knows what to do. Brush our teeth, getting dressed. We don't think about those things, we just do them. We don't think about how we do them. Even driving a car, if you've driven a car for any long, you do it because your subconscious knows what to do and tells you what to do just by the experience that you've had. Think about when you're sitting at your desk and you just automatically start looking at your email without really an intention of, okay, I'm gonna look at email now and then I'm gonna do this later. Think about when you toss something into the trash can, you know where the trash can is. Mine's under my desk, I just throw it under there. But if I ever rearrange my office and I put my trash can across the room, I'm sure there's going to be a few pieces of paper that's going to hit that floor where that trash can used to be. But our subconscious, we react based on a lot of that. And those beliefs and those thoughts subconsciously can drive us forward, or it can stop us in our tracks. Just a simple story I'll kind of tell you, and really this was a revelation for me maybe about 3 years ago. But when I was in the 5th grade, there was a parent-teacher conference. I always wanted to be a teacher. That's basically what I mean, since I was very, very small, every summer my friends, we'd all get together and we all play school. And I mean, I wanted to be a teacher. That was my dream in life, to be a teacher. And I was in the 5th grade and parent-teacher conference, and teacher was at the front of the room. I was sitting at the desk. I can put myself there every time I think of this. And my mom was standing next to me and she said, it's so sad because Cathy won't become a teacher if she flunks history. Well, I was flunking history. I come to find out later that I had a reading problem. I had dyslexic, and, so things like that were causing some problems that no one was aware of at that time, but soon after that. But the whole idea is I kept that thought in my mind for many, many years, and I really never realized the impact it had on me. Now, my mother did not say that to me to be mean. She said that out of love and concern because she knew how much being a teacher was important to me. But I kept that thought in the back of my mind. So there were many of times that I would sign up for college, I would planning on becoming a teacher, and I never followed through. Something would get in my way. And now I realize that it was those negative thoughts that I had, those limiting beliefs that Cathy will never become a teacher. So something as simple as that when I was 5 years old can affect your life. So it really is about thinking about and start recognizing what are those thoughts that we have that could be holding us back. So our beliefs, conscious or subconscious, positive or negative, we believe we can do something or we can believe we cannot do it. We believe that we're good at something or we believe we're bad at it. We believe we have time, we believe we don't have any time. So start recognizing those unconscious thoughts and have some clarity on how they could be affecting you on what you really want. Look at your goals and dreams. Are you moving forward towards them or away from them? Or are you kind of stuck in the middle? So our mindset is a major tool that will help us through any situation. So think and stay positive is so important, not only to yourself, but to everyone around you. When we start changing the way we subconsciously think, we open up a world of new possibilities. Take a moment and think about some of the negative beliefs that you tell yourself. Put in the chat, yes or no, if you can just off the top of your head recognize some of those beliefs that you might have that are holding you back. And as you do that, I just also want to tell you, I used to, when I first learned about this, and this is quite a few years ago, about how our mind affects that, I had a little statement that I would keep on my monitor, and it said, "It's a lie, I just made it up." And that's really true of how we can basically, things that simple that, we make things up. We tell ourselves lies because we make things up in our head that really aren't really true. And sometimes it's about ourselves and sometimes it's about others. So the second roadblock is planning. It's been said that a goal is really just a wish or a dream without an intentional plan for you to follow to achieve that goal. What makes planning a critical piece of the productivity puzzle? When you think about it, if we don't have goals and we don't have dreams, then being productive really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, we can do things just to be doing them because somebody wants them, but the real productivity comes is when we have goals, dreams, and we set our sight on some end results. Planning helps you break down larger goals into manageable steps and milestones that keep the goal right in front of you, which provides motivation and can keep you moving forward. Planning will keep you on track, but it will also shed light on some potential obstacles that could possibly be in your way. So clarity on what you want for your future is an essential part of actually achieving it. After all, if you don't know where you're going, will you ever get there? Achieving goals and dreams require planning. And that's, we plan and then team it up with purposeful action. Once you identify your goal, thinking through the steps you will take to get there is the next step to your path to success. I want you to start thinking big, but I want you to act small. When I say act small, it's about breaking everything down into small or even tiny steps. But far too many of us don't take small enough steps. We always want to rush or jump way to the end. We want to reach those results. We want them instantly. But what I've learned over the last, so this is June, so over the last 10 months, I have lost almost 80 pounds. And through that, what I've learned, it's not about the weight loss, right? It's not about where I want to end up. It's not about where I'm going. It's about the brilliance, I feel like, are not in the results. The brilliance of what I have come to realize comes from the lessons that we learn along the way. As we create and we go through some kind of process. So whenever you think about a goal, I want you to really take the time and stop and look and find those lessons that you're learning during the process. So double check your task. Are they directly related to our goals? That's how we find efficiency. That's why we're more productive and our performance rises. So there's a difference between being busy and productive. It's possible to be extremely busy. I think you all know that, yet not productive. So taking the time to plan each day, each week, each month, and in terms of our bigger goals and our plans, can make a huge difference in ensuring our productivity. Think about how busyness versus productivity applies in your life for your business. And how well are you making decisions regarding what you should be done each day or what you're doing each day? We tend to get caught up in things that should be done and not really looking at the things that are important, the things that are gonna make our plans work, the things that are gonna make us move ourselves forward in that aspect. So it's about thinking, planning, and acting. So I think the DNA of productivity is, the DNA is decision, next, action. Think about your task list. We generally write down results versus tasks. End results can be overwhelming. They can stress us out. So think about it. So a couple of different examples. One is, if I'm going to work on my website, if I write down on my task list, work on website, that's overwhelming. That's a lot to do. I have a website that I've had out there since 2003. So lots of pages, even though it's been updated and all of that, there's a lot to do. So if I decide I want to work on that, I need to be specific. I need to say, I'm going to collect some new pictures for my homepage or for an article, or I'm going to write an article for a blog. It's about the end result is not the task. The task is, what are we going to do next? So we make a decision to work on something and then next. Another great example, we all have cars, we all have tires that luckily we haven't been using them that much lately, but if I go to buy new tires for my car, right? As a small business owner, that's at least a half a day out of my life, going there, waiting, and that type of thing. So it's not about getting tires in my cars on my task list. It's about, the first step would be, for most people, get prices. Where, make a decision. Where are you gonna prices? Look at your, there's so many steps involved to it versus just getting tires for my car. Now, in my case, I would have to go out and look at my car and find out what size tires I need, because I don't know that off the top of my head. So really, that would be my next step. So I want you to start looking at your task list and thinking about, what are you going to work on, and what is the next task you need to do? A budget. We need to look at last year's budget. Another great thing on planning is to take 15 minutes at the end of the day. That 15 minutes can save you up to 60 minutes the next morning. And here's why. So if we're at the end of the day and we're going to stay working, we know what we're going to work on. We know what needs to be done next, right? But if we don't think about that for the next day, the next morning we come in and we have to rethink what we worked on yesterday, or try and figure out what's we're going to do today, or we get into our email and something pops up that we feel like is urgent. But it's most important to plan it at the end of the day for tomorrow. So you know what you would be doing and what is that most important thing. So those are the things that you want to plan on, so that when you do start the next morning, you hit the ground running. I know I'm going to work on XYZ first thing in the morning, and start there versus going to our email and looking at that and letting someone else's urgencies become our urgencies. So let's take, I'd like to just take a few minutes here, and I would like you to kind of put it in the chat, and then if there's any questions, James, if you jump in and kind of go through those. But I'd like you to share what your best way of planning is in the chat. Awful quiet. I mean, the question is, what is your best way of planning? What do you do? Is there anything specific that you do when planning that works well for you? Visualization, that's huge. That's a great one. And then working back your way backwards. Perfect. I love that. Checklists. Checklists are the best. Writing down the task steps. That's great for DNA. On what you keep it in Evernote, great. Create agenda list using Excel spreadsheet. Take the time to time block, great idea. Use your planner. If it's at the end of the day, work backwards to come to the dates, do checklist style. Okay, thank you for sharing all those. They're all great, and those are definitely a lot of what I would recommend if we were really just getting further into that. So one of the greatest obstacles to stay on track is the third productivity roadblock, and that's prioritization. So anyone can look at a to-do list and decide to do one task over another. That's the easy part, right? The challenge comes in knowing which task should be prioritized, determining what task fit with your vision and your goal. And it can make the difference between failure or success. So really understanding and make sure you're prioritizing helps you to be intentional with the task that you choose, and that you invest your valuable time and energy and versus just being busy. So I love this little guy, and if we actually seen the video, he's popping through you know, trying to find the fingers, and it's so much. So have you ever tried playing whack-a-mole? You know, you're constantly busy, not productive. You can start to get discouraged or even burnt out. So you may feel like you're checking things off your to-do list, but you might just be playing a little whack-a-mole and constantly putting out fires. So reflect on where you stand in terms of time and spend the ability to focus on what really, really matters. When we don't, we add stress, overwhelm, and we get overworked, and our productivity suffers when we're actually not prioritizing what we need to do. Our busy days can bring a lot of unexpected things that might get urgent, but not really important. So even if you're an avid to-do list person, our days can spin out of control. So think about how you prioritize your days, and the better you prioritize them, the less whack-a-mole you'll be playing, and you'll truly get the important things done. So we cannot organize or we cannot prioritize things in our head. So we need some way of tracking and deciding what's important and what's not important, and how do we prioritize it. So doing a brain dump is a great process when you're feeling, I love to have my clients do this anytime you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling stuck, you're feeling stressed, or you just don't know where to start. What do I need to do next? So a brain dump can be done at any time. So take out a piece of paper and write everything that comes to mind. All those shoulda do's, wanna do's, have to do's, maybe someday I'll do. All of that stuff just gets brain dumped, and you just write it on a piece of paper. You know, as I work with my clients, I found a lot of them, this has really helped them at night, because we have a lot of thoughts and a lot of ideas go through our head every day. And I don't know, usually ask this, how many people know how many thoughts and ideas go through our head every day? Well, there are 60,000 is what they average, is what they say go through our mind. So when we have all this stuff going on in our mind and we're trying to remember to do this or do that, trying to keep it in our head doesn't work. So as working with clients, we found that before they go to bed at night, if they took the time, and the best time is maybe an hour before you're going to go to bed, and just do that brain dump so that you can release your mind for a couple things. Number one, all that stuff gets out of your head and on a piece of paper. I used to wake up and have to, and oh my God, I forgot to do that. And I had a piece of paper next to my bed, and basically I never could read it the next morning, but at least it allowed me to go back to bed. But by doing it before you go to bed, it releases a lot of that. It also then gives you room to think about what those things that you've decided, okay, I'm going to work on tomorrow. It will let your brain, your subconscious will start thinking about how to work those. You can ask yourself a question. Okay, I need to work on this tomorrow. Well, how do I need to do that? And then leave the question alone, and your brain will work while you're sleeping during the night. And then after waking up in the morning, instead of checking your smartphone or doing something else, do another brain dump. Even best, if you meditate, wait till after you've meditated, because it's really great things will come to you as you're meditating. So then you could do your brain dump after that. So it's the best thing that we can do for ourselves, both in our mindset and our productivity, to help reduce stress and really to help us take one day at a time. You know, I have learned how to do that the very hard way. A lot of things have happened for me in the last 5 years, but I truly can now look at each day, and luckily through all that's been going on, I've gone through this very gracefully because I can look at life one day at a time now. And it's easier said than done, but what can I do to control today? What can I do to be my best today? And it's really something that you have to work at to be able to do. It's easier, as I said than done, but it's really a positive way to start each day, to go through, and to live each day. So we can become confused when we take on too many things or try to go in too many different directions. So it's about thinking and then making a decision where we're going to go and then taking action towards those goals on a daily basis. Another thing is, if it's hard for you to say no to request, even when you know saying yes will increase your stress levels and take time away from other things you'd rather do, it really is something that you need to stop before you say yes. Take the time so that you can say yes without any regretment. How many times, I know I have done it in the past, I have said yes and then later regretted or felt, oh, I shouldn't have done that. So take the time, and it doesn't always have to be yes or no. It can be no and maybe later. The yes can come later. So one thing that I use to help me when I'm really having a tough time deciding is, if it's not a yes, then it's probably a no for now. And that's kind of the way I look at it when I'm really trying to make decisions. So if I don't really feel that hard yes, then it's a no for now when I'm struggling. So hopefully that's helpful for you. So learning to be intentional with your time also brings us to the fourth roadblock, which is focus. Focus is key to working smarter rather than harder. It helps you to make the most of your time that you're spending when you're working. So put in the chat box, what's the biggest challenge for you when it comes to staying focused? Oh, I love that, the monkey mind. Other people, definitely. Other people wind up getting the interruptions. Yeah, the interruptions are hard. That is the biggest one. So distractions, interruptions, even a cluttered work environment. These habits can no longer serve us when we want to really stay focused. We need to really find a way to reduce the distractions. And distractions can be, put me up here, but distractions can be fun. They can be something we enjoy, or they can not be so much fun. They can be things that we're trying to avoid, which I call creative avoidance. So I need to be working on this, but for a sudden I need to clean out my desk drawer because I'm trying to avoid what that is. So it doesn't really matter. Anything that pulls you away from your focus, from the task at hand, decreases your productivity. So focus fuels success. And where your focus goes, your results will follow. So a couple of things that will help you, or that I have found that really help to stay focused, is working only at 90 minutes at a time. So 90-minute spurts. Because after that 90 minutes, our brain energy depletes. It rapidly starts depleting. And even though you continue working, you're not working as efficient or as effectively as you would have. Even if you stop, take a few minutes, close your eyes, sit back, get up and walk around, whatever it is for you. But after 90 minutes, it's really important to just take that break and come back so that your mental energy is revitalized. Using a timer works a lot. And for those people who go on breaks and forget to come back, the timer works for that also. Another thing, your prime time. Understand your prime time. When you need that mental focus, when is the best time for you? First thing in the morning, maybe before or after lunch, late afternoon. I definitely do better early in the morning or really late in the afternoon. So knowing when you work better from your mental standpoint. So it's really about finding ways to do that. So think about multitasking. So I want everybody, and everybody's probably sitting right now, but put both feet on the floor. And I want you to pick up your right foot and make some clockwise circles with your right foot. Okay, we're all coordinated, we can do that. And then pick up your index finger and make also clockwise circles. So most everybody should be able to do that. They're both going the same direction. Now keep your foot going clockwise, but reverse your finger. Okay, probably can't do it, can you? I've only seen one person that could really do it without even having to, even starting and stopping. So that's just to show you that we really cannot multitask, okay? Multitask is taking us away from our focus. Multitasking, you can do things like be cooking something you've cooked all the time, not a new recipe, but something you cooked all the time, and have a conversation with somebody. Those are things, but when it takes mental practice, it's a new recipe, you're doing your email and trying to have a phone conversation, those two don't work. When it takes mental energy, and when we get interrupted in that mental energy, it takes us up to 23 minutes to get to the same point of the zone that we were in when we were distracted. So like if you still, and I can't believe people still do this, but they still have a pop-up tell them they have email, right? Or they have a notification now in the bottom of their monitor. That distracts you. Even if you don't go look at it, it's distract you and cut your distraction off and cut your focus off. So it's really important that we find ways to stay focused. One of the great ways that I have found, I use it's an app called Focus at Will, but it basically is definitely music for helping you to stay focused and productivity. So when I really need to stay focused and I don't want to be interrupted and all that, I'll get in that zone and use that program. Another thing about music, it's interesting, you know, classical, or especially Focus at Will keep me that way, but music for a lot of people will help them stay focused. And for some people, it might be high energy music, you know, and you can get into the beat, things like that. But for some people, it does not work. I was in a workshop one day, and the facilitator had us do an exercise, and he went over and put some little bit of music on, nice soothing music, and I thought the girl next to me was going to jump out of her skin. She, you know, definitely, I know her personally now very well, and she has ADHD. Well, she could not stand that slow paced music. That just was distracting her. Where if somebody was talking in the room would distract me, that would probably be easier for her. So we all have to find our own way on how we can stay focused. Another great thing about how to stay focused or how to be more productive, and that's when we work in our natural productivity style. It's really about learning and understanding who we are, because we all think, work, and we work in different environments. So it's really about being true to ourselves and working naturally and being authentic. And when we do this, it reduces stress. So we can all learn something, right? We can learn and we can learn how to do something, but if that's not how you're normally wired, that's when burnout comes, when we're trying to do something out of our natural style. So, you know, our personality style affects your productivity. And it's really not personality. I call it, you know, productivity style. But do we make decisions really fast? Do we need to have a lot of information? Do we need to really think about it and have a lot of information before we make a decision? Are we an introvert, an extrovert? Are we a task person? Are we an ABC, a planning? Is your environment organized? Are you a person that needs to follow a process? Are you chasing the next shiny thing? That person that's so spontaneous? Are you very detailed, or could you care less about the details? All of those are all relate to our natural productivity, and they affect how we work. So the more you can stay true to yourself, the better off you are, the more productive you'll be, the less stressed you'll be in your life. And the fifth roadblock is energy. Our energy impacts our ability to focus on what truly matters. Our productivity can either flourish or it can fizzle based on the pace we set for our day. And if you're stressed, overwhelmed, overworked, your productivity will suffer. And your mind and body simply won't have what it needs to fuel your processes that you need. So one of the largest causes for procrastination is our energy. And getting quality sleep is crucial to our productivity, and it impacts our ability to focus on what truly matters. So good sleep, and it doesn't always mean to me the length of time of sleep, it means the quality of sleep. Something that I was on a cruise in the very beginning of the year, and I had bought a sleep bracelet. And it's been amazing, but it's one of those things that kind of just keeps put your body a little bit more in tuned with gravity and what's going on in the earth. But find things, if reading, and then will put you to sleep. What it is, not watching TV or looking at your computer an hour before. Shut those things down before you try to go to sleep can make a big difference. But the quality of sleep you're getting versus the quantity. Again, working in those 90-minute sections, that helps your energy. You need to revitalize. Make sure that if you are working, for a longer period of time, or even that 90 minutes, make sure you're taking breaks. Make sure that you're eating healthy. Make sure that you have some protein. If you're going to snack on nuts. Even chocolate gives us more energy than all the other sugary things that we can tend to use. So how many hats are you wearing to get everything done? And even nowadays, that's even more than it used to be, right? Because we're working at home. We were there for a while. We were helping our kids with teaching them at home, still trying to do a job. Many jobs are still at home. And I really, truly will be shocked, not shocked with all the jobs that will continue to stay at home. My daughter works for the hospital industry, and she's in the IT department, and they've got them home until through September and probably the end of the year. And they're even looking at, should it be more on a permanent basis, because some people can work better at home, other people cannot. We also only have so much energy that we can devote to tasks. So it's important to be intentional and direct where you direct your energy and where it can be most beneficial. So looking at all the hats we're wearing, especially if you're a small business owner, and then working from home, are there things that we could start doing, that we could delegate or outsource, that you could really spend your precious time and energy on the things that really matter most to you. So really think about when you start your day, what are those things that are most important for you to accomplish? Put your energy there. And then I want you to start thinking about what you can stop doing. I think that's one of the most important things we can do with our productivity is figure out what we can stop doing. So put in the chat if there's something that you feel like when you really think about it, you just second off the top of your head, what could you stop doing that really is taking up your energy and maybe taking your focus away from your goals, your way that you want to be productive. Watching the news too much, definitely agree with you there. Multitasking, Facebook, overthinking. Yes, all of the watching YouTube videos, multitasking, looking at my phone. So maybe put a sticker up on your monitor or something, and and those things like looking at Facebook or watching the news, set a time to do that. Pick a time during the day, and especially if you're working from home and you're not used to working from home. Another resource I'm going to give you is a document I created about working from home, so I'll give that to you at the end. But I want you to start thinking about pacing your day differently if you're working from home now and you're not been used to that. Taking some breaks and having some time with the family. Maybe having a funny story hour or something like that. Having lunch together, doing things that can really stop you and watch it, looking Facebook or social media. Take those breaks during the day, but schedule them. That is the key. Schedule them in and stop doing the things that really take away from your productivity on a big time that you shouldn't. So the most effective step that leads to stress is to give up thinking about what we can control. And I think the last few months have been let me share this thing. I really think that the last few months has really given us all an exercise in learning that there are a lot of things out of our control of what happens, right, for our daily lives. But we make choices about the people we bring into our lives, the things that we prioritize and that we think about. And we make decisions about what to do and what to avoid. So really, it is very important to realize the only things that we have control over is our time, our energy, our money, and then our actions, choices, behaviors, whichever one you want to pick in that category. But those are the only things we truly have control over, right? And we need to take responsibility for the consequences of our actions on the things that we ignore also, that we don't do. So we are not in control of most things. So save your energy and control the right things are the things that you can control. Is going to make a big, huge difference stress-wise and productivity-wise. Good old self-care. So self-care is also so important, especially to those who tend to prioritize work over everything else in our lives. I am a reforming workaholic. If you know anything about me or you go up and read out, I will tell people about it. I am a reforming workaholic, and I have to keep that in check. But as a small business owner, I probably work more than most because I love what I do and I'm passionate about what I do. And I'm passionate about helping people not go down that same road that I went down. So it's not our inclination, but we have to be consciously, intentionally make sure we're recharging our minds and our bodies on a regular basis. So create a mental routine, relaxing, taking vacations, pleasant events in our life. You know, a lot of times if you're an introvert, I'm an introvert, and people invite me to things, oh, I don't really want to go. But then I go and I enjoy myself, and it really uplifts me. I know right now we can't do a whole lot of that, but thinking positive makes a huge difference in your self-care. Laughing, sharing a funny story, that just the laughter adds to our self-care. Relaxing, giving ourselves spa treatments, reading a book. And then one of the greatest things I think we can do in our self-care is being grateful, and have a gratitude list or a gratitude journal before the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, whatever that works for you. But I think those are but it's so important, because we can't take care of others if we don't take care of ourselves. We can't be productive for the people we work for, or the clients, or the employers that we work for, if we're not taking care of ourselves. So it's really important, is a huge part of that self-care part. Mouse doesn't want to work all of a sudden. Okay, so let's talk about systems. So systems will save you stress, time, energy, and money. And I think you probably heard me talk about those a lot, because time, energy, and money are really, as I said earlier, the things that we can control. And if we have more time, we have more energy. If we have more energy, we can make more money. If we have more money, we can pay somebody to do something that gives us more time. So those are all a vicious cycle. So systems save you stress, time, energy, and money. A lot of time is wasted because we don't have systems in place for many of the repetitive tasks that we do. We recreate what we do over and over again, and then our time's wasted and we're still getting the same results. So think about what you can systematize in a simple procedure, creating routines, responding, to a lot of different tasks that we do, especially if you're a small business owner, or you're doing things that you can teach children to do also as a parent. Think about what we can teach someone else. And yes, it takes time to teach someone else, but that's not a point of a system. The point of a system is that later it's going to free up your time. Perfect example. As I said, my daughter works for BJC, and she's a nurse by trade, but she works in the IT department. And she's got 24 people who work under her, and they kind of migrated part of something into a system, but they never migrated the rest of it. And so she has spent the last 2 weekends migrating this into, so she could save time on the other end. So her and her team lead have been spending all their weekends, the last 2 weekends, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and I mean lots of hours, nonstop, working on this. But now they have the system that will make everybody more productive. Everybody else will be able to use it versus them having to create the spreadsheet and keep everybody updated. So think about what you can create. And if you're a business owner, or even again for kids, you can do a YouTube video, a Zoom video on how to do something on your computer, share your screen and show somebody. That's a great way. If you're hiring a new employee, have somebody new coming in, have them write down, as you teach them or as they get taught, have them write down the description or the procedure if you don't already have in place. So now is the time to create your systems while you have a little bit more time at home. When working on a process that comes simple to you, that's the best time to record it. And as I said, Zoom, there's, Camtasia, there's a lot of ways that you can do that, but start systematizing everything that you can systematize. Oh, let me go back one here. Okay, so what is your plan? So before I just finish up here, just have a few more minutes, have a few other things that I want to share with you, but I would like to see I would like to know what your plan is. Is anything that we talked about, that I talked about today, anything spurred anything for you that you feel like is your takeaway? Do you have any questions that you want me to ask for you personally?
If you have any questions, please enter your question in the chat or raise the blue virtual hand that's located in the participants window in the lower right side of your computer screen.
Okay, great. We can, we're definitely going to do the brain dump. We've got people who are going to do that. High performance leadership and getting my going to apply this to my, oh, great, awesome. Any hints on how to stick with a plan over time? So that's a great question. So the thing that I can tell you, the best thing that you can do regarding creating a habit or creating that plan is that to remember that we're going to fall off. So think about when you went to start riding a bicycle, you know, and you take the first, you know, few pedals and you fall off, you know, and then you go a little bit farther and you fall off again. Well, when we fall off, our parents didn't say, well, you can never ride a bike again because you fell off. No, they encourage us to go on. And that's what we have to realize. We have to give ourselves a break. When we're trying to do something new, when we're trying to increase a new habit, the best thing you can do is fall off so that you can catch yourself and get back on. So the key is get back on. So when you find yourself not following the plan anymore, so take email, for example. I really recommend people just do it, check email 3 to 4 times a day. So if you catch yourself, you know, doing that for a few weeks and then all of a sudden you're not doing it again, you go, but we fall back. It's naturally what we do. It's the way our brain works. So you have to get back on and get back into routine. What's the name of the app? The app is Focus at Will, and I will put that in the chat. So what program am I using for my graphics? So I am using, they were PowerPoint slides that I've done in the past, but I'm using Prezi Video, which is now I don't know, it's brand new, but there is a free version out there and there's a paid version. But I would recommend if you're doing presentations, you know, try and do it, especially that you can show your video, you can, I'll just kind of show. So all I have to do is click, you can see my video, I can click again and you can see my, you know, half screen, and then again, you can see the screen. So it's called Prezi. Okay, so let's continue here and we'll finish up. So just want to kind of remind you there is a worksheet. If you want to do it, grab that link. I can put that link back here. I'll put it back in at the bottom just so that you have it. The 5 main roadblocks to productivity is mindset, planning, prioritization, energy, and focus. And I do have 2 books. Well, I have quite a few books, but these are my 2 main ones. And the Productivity Habit is a 10-week journal. It's the newest. And it is the one that is based on the 5 roadblocks. So those are available. I am gonna, on the resource that I give you, the link to the handout, it will have all these links. So you don't have to worry about trying to write them down. I thought I'd do that for you. I've not done that before, and I thought I'd do it for you guys today. So the Productivity Habit and then the 52 Powerful Success Strategies are both, and they're both more workbooks and journals to help you really get through things. And then, as I told you, I promised you some free resources. So here are the free resources. Again, this link will be in the handout. So if you have it, you don't have to write it down. When all of this started with the virus and all that. And I'm already help people with stress, but I decided it was my way to give back. So I created what is called the de-stress zone. So it's a lot of resources. And when you go to that page, if you also go to the bottom, this you'll have to sign in for, but it's still free resources. There's more downloadables. My TV show, some of those are out there. I'm probably going to start putting them all out there, the recordings for those. There's some podcasts I've been on. So hopefully these resources will help you to reduce your stress. And then the last one is how to be productive and thrive while working at home. So another resource that I put together for the time that we are all in right now. So I will grab those links again here and pop them in for you. Are there any last questions or comments? Okay, there are the links for the worksheet, and then also the link to NSA St. Louis if you'd like to kind of check out some of our speakers, and if you would be interested. I really welcome you all, if you invite you all and contact me. Also on the, one last thing, on the handout at the very bottom, there is a place, a link if you would like to chat with me, a free 15-minute, 30-minute call. I'd be happy to help anybody in any way that I can. So thank you for attending today.
Move the
All right, thank you, Cathy. That's a wonderful presentation. And I want to present you with a certificate of appreciation from my district. Appreciation for outstanding service for the Lunch and Learn Personal Growth Series. It's our first one, and thank you for really doing a fantastic job on a subject we sorely needed. It was awesome and very well appreciated again. So thank you, and we look forward to seeing you again, hopefully.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for all for attending.
All right. And any last questions before we end this session? If not, I want to thank all of you guys for attending the Lunch and Learn Personal Growth Series. It's our first one ever again, and hopefully you guys got a lot of value from it. I know I did. And let's go and be productive. Take care.